Hello students, welcome to the English class. I am Bangla Bharathi, Associate Professor of English, Vivekananda Government Degree College, Vidyanagar, Hyderabad. Today we are going to look at the soft skills component of first year UG textbook. This is your textbook, English Made Easy, published by the Orient Black Swan. It has two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is for semester 1. Part 2 is for semester 2. Let me just upload the PPT. Please be on the line. I hope you can see the slides, student. I hope you can see the slide now. We are going to look at the soft skills component of UG first year, that is BA, BCOM, BBA, BSc of Osmania University. First year, you have only one general English textbook. It has part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is for semester 1. Part 2 is for semester 2. Okay. Now, what are the soft skills component? You have your prose, poetry, grammar, vocabulary, and you also have spellings, pronunciation, comprehension passages. You have reading, writing, listening, speaking, and then you have a soft skills component and value orientation component. Semester 1, in soft skills, we have learned motivation and goal setting from lesson 1, self-confidence, building it in lesson number 2, non-verbal communication and body language in 3rd lesson, interpersonal skills in 4th lesson. Now, the second semester, we will be learning lesson number 5, time management, lesson 6, leadership skills, lesson 7, stress management, lesson 8, etiquette and grooming. Now today, we are going to look at stress management, which is a soft skills component of semester 2 UG first year, which is from lesson number 7. Now, what is stress? We all know these days of late, people are all under great stress. So, right from children to the adults, at all age groups, everybody seems to be under a lot of stress. But how do you handle stress? How do you define stress? Here is a short video from the BBC. Watch it. You will have some tips. It is about, the video is about a duration of 2 minutes. Watch it. How do you manage stress?
Watch this. One little piece of paper can have a remarkable effect. Stress is stressful. But if you understand a bit about what it is, you'll be better able to deal with it. First though, take a few deep breaths. In fact, do that anytime you feel stressed. It helps. Stress is a survival mechanism. When danger appears, it can get you out of trouble quickly. Your body crashes up the gears and throws all its resources into getting you moving. Your heart pumps furiously to increase blood pressure. Glucose is sent to the muscles as a fuel injection, and you become totally focused on what psychologists call fight or flight. The thing is, this emergency state is only meant to last just long enough to get you out of danger. But here in the 21st century, we stress about different things, and for much, much longer. Your brain and body stay on red alert, and you'll be less able to think clearly, learn, or remember things. Take a few more deep breaths, because as you now know, stress is a physical reaction, and deep breathing helps to counteract its effects. So, what else can you do? Okay, top tips to reduce stress. First, get plenty of exercise. Let out all that locked up energy. Now, back to the problem. Get in control. Scope out the situation and how you're going to tackle it. Don't stress alone. Talk to someone. Socialize. And have a laugh. You can't laugh and quake with fear at the same time. Get down in nature on a big or small scale. And if your mind won't stop worrying, give it something else to do instead.
So top tips to handle your stress, to manage your stress from bbc.co.uk Brain Smart. This is the website. I'm going to give you all the websites from which this power material for this PowerPoint is taken. Now, this is a screenshot. Textbooks have scanned the soft skills component into two parts. This is the first part. It defines what is stress. How do you define it? What are the triggers and other things? So we'll get to read this in detail at a later stage, but let me introduce what is stress. Right from the birth till the death, an individual is invariably exposed to a lot of stressful situations. And the modern world, the millennial world, is also said to be a world of achievement, but it is also a world of stress, and therefore this age is called age of anxiety and stress. Where did this word stress come from? It was originally used by Celiel in 1956 to describe the pressure experienced by a person in response to the demands of life. These demands are referred to as stressors. So stress can be positive and negative. How can stress be positive? A positive stress, I'll tell you later how it can be positive. Now, according to this psychologist, Celiel, stress is defined as the pressure experienced by a person to life demands. These demands are called stressors. These stressors include a varied of life events, a range of them. Physical factors like feeling very cold, feeling hungry, if there is a bleeding somewhere, hemorrhage, there is a pain, there's environmental condition, too much of rain, there is floods, and in the personal thoughts also, there could be a lot of stress. Emotional, physical factors, which are external, and some emotional factors, which are internal. So according to Stress Selve, in 1976, he has defined it further as a process of adjusting to or dealing with circumstances that disrupt or threaten a person's physical or psychological functioning. Stress could be a tension, a strain, a pressure from a situation that requires us to use, adapt, develop new coping skills. So a quick recap is, stress is defined as an overwhelming feeling when we are under a lot of mental or emotional pressure. There is no predictable pattern to stress. For some people, giving a seminar in the class could be stressful. For others, tight deadlines. You have to submit this assignment or homework by this date. That could be stressful. It could cause a source of tremendous worry. To manage stress, we need to identify what are the things that are making us stressful, the triggers. They are called stressors. They could be external or internal. Now, what are these triggers? External triggers could be the physical environment, social interaction with people. You feel stressed out when talking to your teacher, or you feel stressed while talking to a person, your classmate, or a group leader or somebody from the other class. So it could be social interaction, physical environment, life situations around you that you have no control over, or a death in the family, a loss of a pet or a loved one. These could be the external stress factors on which you have no control. There could be stressors in the internal factors, that is the personal lifestyle. Basic personality traits could be a stressful thing. Somebody who is very sensitive. Anything that disturbs him, they keep on thinking about it again and again and again. It's like playing the gramophone record again, like rewinding the tape again, playing it. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did I do this? Why are people blaming me? Maybe something is wrong with me. They keep on thinking about it. So this could be because of the individual's thought process that includes overanalyzing, overthinking, negative thinking, or the personality of somebody is also like that. They always see something as very, very problematic. They get stressed out for even simple things. So these stresses affect physical well-being and mental well-being. How do you identify if somebody is in stress or not? There are certain symptoms. This is also an evaluated study. Psychologists across the world have done a lot of research and they have identified certain physical symptoms which are appearing in your body and psychological symptoms and general psychological behavior symptoms also. Now, what happens? You can see your eyes, the pupils, they seem to be dilated. So visual perception is blurred. Too much of sweat will be more. Heart rate, it increases, or the cardiac output increases. Skin becomes pale because of peripheral blood constriction. Mouth becomes very dry, and the urine output also decreases. These are certain physiological symptoms which you can see in a body. So stress, again, it could be an overwhelming feeling. What do you mean by overwhelming feeling? A feeling which is so too much of it that you cannot control it. You feel anxious. You feel no control over it. You feel like either crying or hiding your face. You feel like running away, which is a flight, or you want to fight it out. Very angry, very aggressive behavior. So stress could be under a lot of emotional or mental pressure. It is an overwhelming feeling caused by work responsibilities, studies, financial worries, or demands of life. How is it shown? It affects the health and psychological effects, and it affects the hormones of a body. The body chemistry changes, physical aspects change, psychological aspects also change. There are certain advantages of stress. There are disadvantages also about stress. But what we need to understand is we need to handle this stress. How to handle it? Recognize the triggers. Recognize what are the things that are making you feel stressed. Keep a journal, write down every day. Today I felt like this. Somebody said something, I felt uneasy. Teacher asked me to read out in the class. I felt a kind of disturbance in my stomach. I felt like there was shivering in my body. When somebody asked for something, I just couldn't speak. My mouth went dry. So these affects you note it down in a journal. But the best way to handle it is by managing your time and setting priorities. That aspect will come to it later. As per a study, it is said that adolescents, that is teenagers, early teens to the adolescent teens, are under a lot of stress than elders. So adolescence is a period of significant changes where there are lots of changes happening in your body, in your emotions. That's the time where you're having a social circle, peer pressure. You'd be moving from school to college, that academic changes. And there are many changes that are happening during the adolescent time than any other time in a particular person's lifetime. So that's why adolescents, according to a survey, especially the teenagers, are under a lot of stress when compared to the others. How are the symptoms? As I told you, physical symptoms. You don't feel like eating, appetite has died, or other extreme, overeating. You keep on eating. Whenever you are stressed, you eat a lot or you don't eat a lot. And there is a feeling of tiredness, fatigue. So much of fatigue, so much of tired for even simple things. You feel very tired. You feel like sleeping all the time. And suddenly you have all kinds of aches. This hand aches, the legs ache, there's a headache, there's a muscle pain, there's a muscle catch. All kinds of unknown aches and pains will start troubling you. There is a nausea, feeling of vomiting, feeling of giddiness, The rooms would be spiraling. The walls, you feel that they are closing on you. Or there's a sudden abdominal pain, which you usually see in children. Whenever they have an exam, before the exams, they suddenly have this abdominal pain, stomach ache, or vomiting sensation. They have sleep problems. They don't sleep at all. Or students, they fall sick very often. Every now and then they have fevers, they have cold, they have diarrhea, loose motions, all lots of things. And because of too much of stress, the immunity also comes down. When the immunity comes down, more stress. You will fall sick more often. So it is kind of interlinked. That is, if you're under stress, you fall sick. If you're sick, that increases your stress. Because of these things, you get into depression. If you're depressed, your autoimmunity goes off, your immunity also comes down. Sometimes you also have this autoimmunity disease, which will cause all kinds of physical problems, health problems in you. See, so many side effects of feeling stressed. Now, mental stress. Mental symptoms, you feel low, you're nervous, there's some kind of anxiety, restlessness always. There is too much of anger, you feel like shouting at someone for no reason, or you shout at somebody for no reason, or you're silent, you're depressed, you're easily upset. At college, maybe you're silent, but when you go home, that stress you carry home, and if somebody says something, you just burst like a volcano. There's poor self-confidence. You don't feel confident at all. There's low self-esteem, and there's lack of concentration. You cannot focus on studies or watching a TV or while answering a phone. You are answering, but your mind is wavering somewhere else. There is no concentration. When there's no concentration, when there's no focus, what happens? It shows on the academics, poor performance in studies. So the manifestations of stress include anxiety, fear, depression, anger, and some unconscious ego defense mechanism. There is anxiety. All the time you are kind of restless. There is mental uneasiness. You are not stable at some point. You'd be picking up this, you'll be picking up that. There's kind of restlessness in you. And there is always apprehension that something is going to go wrong. Oh my God, I have to move away from here. Some kind of apprehensions, fears. There's a feeling of helplessness. This could be at the conscious level, subconscious level, unconscious level also. Unconscious level, it comes in dreams when you're sleeping. Subconscious, half asleep. Conscious when you're fully awake. Common problems when you're too much of stress. You have relationship problems at home, with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends, with your family, relatives. You all have relationship problems. Any relationship, there is some problem or the other. You tend to get depressed. There's always some kind of anxiety, eating disorders. Some people, in order to get out of stress, they take substance. Substance abuse is alcohol, smoking, or drinking, or of late we have seen so many youngsters going to hookah parlors or taking drugs or getting used to alcohol. These come under substance abuse. Sleep problems are anyway there. You can't just sleep properly. You cannot have 8 hours of that sleep that you require. What happens, there's also problem in the kind of self-control. People, you assume a manner, your facial expression will change that you are not in control. You cannot handle any change. Also, you suppress a lot. You suppress what you're feeling. You don't say it out. Even in spite of asking, they'll be only smiling. Nothing. They'll be looking at the roof or the floor, not maintaining eye contact. Also, some of the students will indulge in daydreaming because you cannot be expressive. You suppress your thoughts. You don't say what you want to say. So in a situation, situation is asking, your friends or your family is asking you to respond. You don't say it out, but in your mind, in that dream that is following, you'll be saying everything. You'll be telling it in your mind. Okay, you'll be retorting, you'll be hurling abuses also, but you won't say it out. So this is a kind of daydreaming where your unfulfilled wishes and desires are imagined as fulfilled, or threatening experience is reworked or replayed so that it ends differently in reality. In reality, you're just silent, but in your dreams or in your daydreaming, you're all that hero going out, fighting, saying things out on people's faces, or reacting or responding the way you think you should have done. So this is daydreaming. Sleep problems. 35% of adult population who are under stress, they experience insomnia. Insomnia is unable to sleep, inability to sleep. 11% of college students get a good night's sleep. So what happened to the other 89% of students? They are like night owls, maybe on the mobile phone or chatting with friends, but not sleeping. So what happens if you don't get enough sleep? There's loss of cognitive functioning. If you throw the ball, you can't catch it immediately. So the reflexes are bad. The cognitive function goes down. It affects your driving. If you're driving a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, you just cannot control the vehicle. You're traveling by bus, your stop comes, you're not able to get down immediately. Your bus stops in the bus stop, you're not able to get into it in a metro train or whatever. That cognitive function, the reflexes, they do not act immediately the way they should act. There's increased risk of depression. So 7 hours, less than 7 hours of sleep makes you sleep deprived. So half the time you'll be sleeping in the college or traveling. Every time you'd be kind of sleeping, but except in the night. And I was talking about two kinds of stresses. One is distress, that is the trouble or a negative kind of a stress, and one is eustress. Eustress is a positive stress which gives you all positive advantages. That is the optimal amount of stress. It helps you to promote health and growth. Example, your teacher says something positive, compliments you, appraises you, or your friend praises you in the entire group. What do you feel? You feel very great, you feel very nice, and you want to do something better also. This is eustress. That is a praise or a recognition for your hard work, some kind of recognition for any of the talents that you have, singing, dancing, essay writing, mimicry, anything. If you get a praise, if you get a recognition, you feel a kind of happiness that gives you eustress. Eustress is a positive stress which is good for everyone. And people perform well, people do wonders when they are under this positive stress. So how do you manage your stress? According to your textbook, we'll go through the textual exercise later, but then it tells you to maintain a journal or a diary. You write down various moments in your day when you felt overwhelmed, when you felt anxious, when you felt breathless, when you felt like vomiting, when you felt dizzy, when you had a kind of migraine attack, or when you had irritated bowel syndrome, IBS. That means every now and then you want to go to the toilet. Also note, what were you doing at that time when you felt any of these? How you felt mentally, how you felt physically. What were you thinking at that time? What was going around you, physical environment? Where did it happen? When you felt this breathlessness or when you felt nauseating feeling, what was happening? Where were you? And give a stress rating from 0 to 1. No stress, 0. High stress, 10, 0 to 10. In that scale, you give a rating how you felt. This journal or diary, you have to maintain it. Keep that book in your handbag. Keep that book with you every time, or at the end of the day, you write things, or immediately you can note it down in your journal. how to manage stress, how to reduce it. There is no quick fix method. You have to try out various methods and see what works for you. Because what works for you might not work for the others. But the common methods that the doctors and the psychologists and people who are being trainers in handling stress, they suggest is exercise helps you a lot. Exercise, yoga, sports, games, they improve your physical fitness. A fit body means a fit mind. Simple sutra. So exercise. If you're angry, if you're very stressed out, go for a walk. If you're very stressed out, do a dance, break into a dance, maybe a Zumba or some kind of yoga, some kind of aerobic exercises, or start playing games, sports, which involves the physical activity. You have to exhaust that energy that is there in your body. Otherwise, meditation. You need to meditate, learn to practice breathing exercises where you breathe in slowly, breathe out, and try to relax your mind. This breathing exercise will help you to stay calm whenever you feel stressed. In a class, you have to give a presentation. Your person before you has presented. Next is somebody else's turn, and the next is your turn. You start feeling stressed. That's when you can do this breathing exercise. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out till your turn comes. Other way is relaxing with music. Listen to nice melodious music. Read books and cultivate hobbies. Connect with friends, connect with loved ones, spend time with your group, with your friends who make you feel happy. That's another way. Try to laugh a lot. Watch comedy films and laugh out happily. Avoid unhealthy habits or substance abuse. Despite practicing all these things, if you still are unable to handle your stress, then you need to get help. Nothing wrong in getting help. You can speak to the teachers, you can speak to the counselors, your mentors. It's okay to feel sad, but not okay to keep feeling sad and staying there in the state of sadness. Now, stress can be handled by managing time. That's another way. We all have 24 hours available. If you not manage, you'll feel stressed out. Stress can be managed by time management. Time management again is a different topic, which we will do it later. So remember students, everyone has a bad day. Everyone has problems. Everyone goes through heartache. Everybody has moments of happiness. They have some great days, and they have some moments of sadness, moments of depression, and horrible days going absolutely wrong. But you are responsible to take care of yourself. Nobody is responsible for your well-being. You are responsible for your well-being. So if you think, if you resolve, you can make a difference to your life. Now this is the soft skills, the text part of it. Now we are going to look at the text. I'll give you 1 minute, read it. And then the second part you read it. Then we will have a quick recap. And then I'm going to show you some 2 films on managing your stress. I'll keep the time for you. Read the first part of your text. You can pause the video and enlarge the image and also read. I'll give you 1 minute to read it. I'll keep the time for you. Okay, stress is the overwhelming feeling when you're under a lot of mental or emotional pressure. It could be because of work responsibilities, studies, financial worries, or any of the life's other demands. Since stress affects your hormones, body chemistry, it can make you anxious, irritable, angry, depressed, low in self-confidence, lethargic is feeling very lazy, or drained of energy, or sleeping. These are but few symptoms it can trigger, and so learning to manage stress is necessary element in our lives. There is no predictable pattern to stress, I have told you. And this is the second part of the stress. Read it. So if you are not sure what causes your stress, the best way is to keep a journal. Write down all the information of the stressful events, which will help you to cope up or which will help you to handle if that scene repeats again. Remember, what were you doing at that time? How did you feel mentally or physically? What were you thinking? What was going around you? Where did it take place? And give a rating from 0 to 10. How stressed you feel. Sadly, there is no quick fix for stress, nor does one single method work for everyone. So you need to try out various methods and see how your stress reduces. Now here is in the next one. These are the common things which have helped people across the world to combat stress. I'll give you 2 minutes of time, 1 minute. This we have already told you, but then go through it quickly. 1 minute, I'll mind the time for you. Okay, handling stress one way is to exercise, getting connected with loved ones, relaxing with a hobby, meditation, avoid unhealthy habits, and find help. Now, what is hobby? Is an activity or interest that is undertaken for pleasure or relaxation, typically done during one's leisure time. That is collecting stamps, playing games, outdoor recreation, gardening, reading, cooking. These are all hobbies, recreational activities. Now I'm going to show you a short film. It gives you some tips on handling your stress. Watch it.
Tests, traffic, Twitter. Oh, it's also overwhelming and stressful. But who has time to relieve stress when it's constantly building and building? Well, we hope you do. Because studies have shown that too much stress leads to headaches, higher blood pressure, an upset stomach, memory loss, disrupted sleep, and increased risk for heart attacks. Stress does a number on your mind and body, draining your immune system and messing with your ability to concentrate. Having tense, sore muscles, shallow breath, increased heart rate, these are all signs that you might be too stressed out. Hey, we all know that you can't take fewer classes. You can't quit the track team or resign from student government. We get it. But here are a few tips that will help you feel calmer inside when your outside life gets too hectic. 1. stay in and recuperate. When stressed, you might feel the need to tackle everything on your to-do list all at once, but that sets you up for burnout and failure. Instead, find a simple routine task to complete at home, like doing the dishes or vacuuming. Studies show that completing a repetitive task allows your brain to pare down and focus. The perfect cure for a worried, scattered mind. After you finish cleaning your house, clean yourself. Yes, we wrote that. Clean yourself, because a warm bath or hot shower will boost your mood. Studies have shown that the sensation of warm water triggers responses in the body and brain similar to those triggered by emotional warmth. So, think of your next shower like a soothing liquid hug. If you find stress keeping you up all night, try progressive muscle relaxation just before bed. That is a fancy way to describe clenching up every muscle in your body for a few seconds and then letting go. Lie on your back and start with your forehead, continuing through your tummy, down through your thighs, and finally your little toes. Repeat as needed until every muscle is completely relaxed. Then, sleep like a baby. 2. Get out for good vibes. Downward doggy paddle your way through stress. The spiritual mantras used in yoga and meditation help focus the mind and stave off feelings of anxiety. Yoga not for you? That's okay. Go outside for a good dose of natural light and a little jog. Exercise lessens anxiety and helps maintain feelings of calm, even in the face of distressing events. Hey, leave the headphones behind. All the distracting chatter from those texts and emails and tweets can wait. And hey, instead of texting, emailing, or tweeting your best friend, why don't you guys just meet up and get in a good laugh? Because laughter injects a surge of endorphins into the body, which creates feelings of happiness and euphoria, which is why you like them so much. 3. Here's the best one. Treat yourself to something yummy. Chocolate. All right, look, we're not condoning emotional eating, because that's a whole other thing. But there are treats that you can keep handy that will improve your mood, like dark chocolate. Certain chemicals in chocolate help relax the blood vessels, which reduces blood pressure. You can also appeal to your sense of smell for relaxation. The aromas of spearmint and lavender have proven de-stressing effects. So go buy a lavender-scented candle or pick up some spearmint tea. Take a moment to yourself and breathe in the goodness. There you have it, Wellcasters, our quick tips for stress relief. You're going to have to anticipate that life will be filled with ups and downs. So when the challenges do come, you can take comfort now in knowing that there's a warm shower just on the other side of your bathroom, or a delicious piece of chocolate stashed in your bag. Be sure to incorporate stress relief strategies into your daily routine. Make them as essential as breathing. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. Well, that's all from me today, Wellcasters. Would you do me a kindness? Subscribe to our channel. Sign up for our newsletter to receive sneak peeks and other awesome stuff. See you later.
So these are few
Tests.
tips about handling your stress. Before I show you another video, let me take a screenshot of this, because this has all the slides and YouTube videos which you have seen in this particular lesson. These are the various sites. Anytime you can go into these sites and watch them. Coming back to ABC of management, always take time for A. This is the ABC. Always take time for yourself, at least 30 minutes a day. B, be aware of your own stress meter. C, concentrate on controlling your own situation without controlling everybody else. D, daily exercise. E, eat a lots of fresh fruit. F, forgive others. G, gain perspective. H, hug your friends, have kisses, laughter, don't be afraid. I, identify stresses and deal with them. J, judge your own performance. K, keep positive attitude. L, limit alcohol and drugs. M, manage your time and money. N, no is a word that you need to use when you have to say no. Don't feel guilty. If you can't do something, just say no and don't feel guilty about it. O, outdoor activities. P, play your favorite music. Q, quit smoking. R, relationships. S, sleep well. T, treat yourself once a week with friends, going out with friends, or a movie, or a parlor, get a massage. U, understand things from the other person's point of view. V, verify information before you try to react. W, worry less. Y, have yearly goal setting. Z, have zest for life. Remember, every day is a gift from God. Smile and be thankful that you are part of the bigger picture. Now we'll look at the video that I have picked for you. This is Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev's advice when Shekhar Kapoor, the famous Hollywood director who's Indian born, he asked how to manage stress. So Sadhguru says, what do you manage? You manage your finances, your stocks, your investments, but managing stress? Hear it from his voice, in his words.
I must tell you this. When I first went to the United States a few years ago, wherever I went, everybody was talking about stress management. I really couldn't understand this. Because in my understanding, we manage things which are precious to us. Okay? Our business, our family, our money, our wealth, our children, we manage all these things because these are all things precious to us. Why would anybody manage stress? I couldn't get this. When this word was thrown at me everywhere, stress management, I said, why manage stress? It took me a while to understand these people have concluded that stress is a part of their life. Stress is not a part of your life. Stress is just your inability to manage your own system. Stress is not because of the nature of your work. The Prime Minister is complaining of stress. The chaprasi also complaining of stress. In between, every other person saying his job is stressful and unemployed are stressful. They don't have anything to do. That also they're stressful. So you're suffering your job. If I get you fired, will you be joyful? No. So stress is not about your job, obviously, isn't it? It is just that you do not know how to manage your body, how to manage your mind, how to manage your emotions, your energy, your chemistry. You do not know how to manage anything. You are functioning by accident, so everything is stressful. You get into your car without a steering wheel. Or you get into your car, if you turn this way, it goes in the opposite direction. You will be stressful, isn't it? So right now, that's the kind of mechanism you're driving without understanding anything about it. Just by chance you're blundering through life, you will be stressful. So stress is not because of the nature of the activity that you're performing, not because of life situations. Stress is simply because you do not know how to manage your own system. What is stressful for you, somebody is breezing through it, isn't it so? Stress is not situational. It is just an inability to manage the inner situation, not the outer situation. Essentially, the quality of our lives change and transform, not because we change the content of our lives, only because we have changed the context of our life. Someone is living a beautiful life does not mean he's doing something different when he wakes up in the morning. He also goes to the toilet. He also brushes his teeth. He also does the same things. But somehow his life is magical and beautiful because of the context. This could have happened to people when they fall in love with somebody. They were doing the same thing. Suddenly they are in love with someone. Suddenly everything is different because the context of their life has changed. But then once they fall out of it, again the context of their life changes and it becomes miserable. Now, changing the context is something which is voluntary, which is just something that you can do willfully. Changing the content may not be possible as you will. Because to change the content of your life, you need permission from the situations in which you exist, isn't it? But to change the context of life, you don't need anybody's permission. It is not at all situational. So on a certain day, 3 men were working in one place. Another man came by and asked the first man, "What are you doing here?" This man looked up and said, "Can't you see I'm cutting stone? Are you blind?" This man moved on to the next man and asked, "What are you doing here?" That man looked up and said, Something to fill my belly. I come here and do whatever they ask me to do. I just have to fill my belly, that's all." He went to the next man, the third man, and asked, "What are you doing here?" That man stood up in great joy and said, "I'm building a beautiful temple here." All of them are doing the same thing. But their experience of what they're doing is worlds apart. Every human being, every moment of his life, could be doing whatever he is doing in any one of these 3 contexts. And that will determine the quality of his life, not what he is actually doing. How simple an activity you're doing or how complex an activity you're doing doesn't change the quality of your life. With what context are you doing changes the quality of your life, isn't it?
So that's it, students. What are you doing in context of your life? Context is important. This is Sadhguru's video. We have seen the other things also. So if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the comment box. Subscribe to my channel. Whenever I put up a new video, you will get the notification. So thank you so much for watching. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Leave your doubts in the comments section. I'll get back to you. So that's all for now, students. We'll meet again. Till we meet in the next class, stay home, stay safe, do a lot of reading, keep listening to a lot of things, and also start marking your journal. Keep a journal for your stress factors to note when you felt those stressful moments. Where were you? What were you doing? How did you feel physically and emotionally? What were the effects? And have a stress-free life. Don't manage stress, handle stress. Okay, stay safe. See you in the next class. Thank you so much.